So there was a report that came out today by Business Insider, which got some inside information. Again, I don't know the validity of this report, but it's more I want to cover, well, what if this is true, right? What if it's true that Google recently changed their compensation packages? So Google Cloud, obviously taken over by Thomas Kurian. He's shaking things up. He's bringing in Robert Enslin, who's an SAP executive, and he's been challenged with growing the Google Cloud business, right? That's GCP, that's Google G Suite, and part of that, obviously, is to not only grow and enhance the sales team, but there's other ways to become enterprise ready and to drive sales, right? The way that is apparently happening, and it was as of July, they changed the compensation metrics. So what's been reported is that they've actually lowered the base salary for the sales organization and they've increased the bonus. Now this is very typical. That's right out of the Oracle playbook where Thomas is from. That's right out of the SAP playbook, which Robert is from, which by the way, not that long ago, he just came into to Google Cloud in April. So that's a pretty quick April to July change. But it signals a couple things, right? We obviously don't know what the metrics are. I mean, there's some common ones: net new ACV, ACV growth, utilization and use growth, right? Specifically with GCP and specifically with G Suite, that's a big one. So those are assumptions. There's part of the report that's saying that it was a 10% reduction in the compensation, the base salary, a 10% bump in the bonus. And so if it all plays out, the sales reps could be making more. But the bottom line is this: that type of behavior, right, is going to, again, if the past is an indicator of the future, it's going to drive hardball, aggressive sales tactics, right? If these sales individuals are motivated by bonus versus base salary, of course they're going to be aggressively going to the market. Now, obviously, that's what Google Cloud wants. They want to grab market share. In fact, again, part of this report, Kurian has announced to the team that the window is 5 years to become number 2, right? So AWS, Microsoft, Google, they need to become number 2 in 5 years. That's the window that's been communicated. Again, per the report. So the interesting thing on top of all this, again, going back to it, Thomas, when he took over as CEO and there was a Fortune magazine interview, he talked about, look, I learned things when I was at Oracle. And one of the things I learned was that these hardball sales tactics are not things we're going to do. It's going to differentiate ourselves by being easy to work with, easy pricing and contracting. And when I hear things like now there's a shift in the compensation package, which is clearly going to drive aggressive hardball tactics, I wonder what's going on, right? And so if you're evaluating or thinking about GCP or G Suite, I would bring this up. You can mention the report if you want, but more importantly, I'd talk about the importance of Google doing what they said they were going to do, which was not to have hardball sales tactics, not to be aggressive in their approach, right? Hold them accountable to what was said before. And by the way, if you've jumped to G Suite or GCP and you're starting to notice a change, which inevitably is going to happen, new account reps because they're hiring, sales approach that now your account rep may have to now be working under, bring it to their attention. Ask them for commitments now as to keeping a committed approach that they maybe have already given you. Make sure that they understand that at the end of the day, if Google wants to get market share, if Google wants to get more enterprise customers, this is actually the chance for them to truly differentiate themselves. So yes, they may be changing their compensation. And yes, they may be aggressively hiring. And yes, they have SAP executive and Oracle executive leading the charge. So there's going to be tactics. There's going to be change that inevitably is going to happen. But the point is this: as the enterprise, as the actual customer, which they need to win your business, force them through the opportunity to behave at the outset and over the term how you want them to. The other thing that's really important here is to think about the combination of increased sales, increased or changing of the compensation package, which by the way, could lead to more payment to sales executives. It's also telling you where they're shifting their attention, right? I'm not saying they're going to pull away from R&D expenses. I'm not saying that they're going to change on innovation. But when you start to see these things and you start to hear about them cutting money away from marketing and partnering programs, and they're clearly laser focused on sales, there's behavior that comes with that. And again, it's important to remind Google that your expectation is that innovation that Google has built a brand around is going to continue to flow to your enterprise in meaningful ways. So hold them accountable to this. So again, it's a report that's out there. It was in Business Insider. It was based on some internal resources that had given them some insights. It may not even be true, but the point is, if it is, here's what you need to think about.